We are joined by Austin Dillon, driver of the number 3 Pumpkin Spice Cheerios Chevrolet, who is one of our drivers in the chase to the NASCAR Sprint Cup round of 16. Austin, why don't you just talk a little bit about that first practice out there? I know you had a little bit of a rough one.
Yeah, didn't go as planned, but just trying to find some extra speed and drove a little too hard, I guess, or I don't know what really happened. We just didn't have it together as good as we wanted to in that first practice, and we got a good backup car, and we'll go try and qualify on the pole with it.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Austin. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. I'll start here with Jerry and then go to Claire.
A couple questions. Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, Kicking the Tires. First, I'll talk about your Pumpkin Spice Cheerios. Have you tried them yet? How are they? And do you have any pressure going into this race? And as far as competing against the other guys that are out there in the chase and, to advance?
Oh yeah, we want to advance, so there's always pressure there. We just want to go out there and have a good run. That'd be great. You know, top 10, top 5, or have a shot to win. So we're in the chase. We want to do well, and it's a great opportunity for us. So yeah, and the Pumpkin Spice Chevrolet looks really good. Hate that we had to ruin the first one, but we got another one that looks just the same.
Go to Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. A lot of times when people go to a backup, you know, and you probably won't know after Saturday practice when you really get down into it, you know, crew chiefs always tell us, oh, we got a better backup than we have a car, and the initial car, the primary, but everybody's always encouraged. What is the difference? You know, how close is it? How much do you feel like it makes a difference? And how do you have to adjust to it when you go to a backup?
It's my first backup in 3 years in the Cup Series, so I really don't know how to answer that question. So
it's a good way to answer it right there.
Yeah, I've never had to go to a backup. Darlington, I flat-sided the car in practice, but we used that car. So that's the only place I've really had damage and had to run a car with damage going into a race. But, yeah, I've never had a backup car that I've had to run in 3 years. So we'll see how it goes right here. I'll have a better answer afterwards.
Do you get the idea that they can replicate pretty close?
I hope so. I think, you know, it's not the exact same car. It's a little older car, but same type of car we ran here the first time, and we ran pretty solid in that race. So just go out there and drive it hard and see what it gives me.
We'll go to Rob and Matt and then over to the side.
Austin, I got 2 questions for you. First of all, what's some of the best things that your crew chief Slugger Labby has brought to you that's really helped you with your strong season so far? And secondly, setback that you had it in first practice, do you feel pretty confident about your chances to gain some positions and points so you can feel pretty safe about heading into Dover next weekend?
Yeah, I do. I feel like we can gain points here this weekend, and you know, we just got to be smart with what we do from here on out. The good thing is that happened in the first practice, so we can have a good qualifying position in the next 2 hours, and it doesn't hurt us. We don't have to start in the back. So just want to have a solid run in qualifying, fill out that car, and see what we got. But yeah, I feel like this is a place where we can gain positions, and it's a long race, and you can play some strategy at the end. Restarts are really important, especially when the late race cautions start happening.
We'll go to Matt and then over here to the side.
Matt Weaver, Racer.com, Auto Week magazine. At what point after you've had kind of a so-so run like you had at Chicago, do you start to take a serious glance at the standings and start calculating points and say, well, if I can't win one of these next 2 races, this is kind of what we have to do to advance?
I think you're already in that mindset. You know you got to beat 16 of those guys. You watch where they're at, and you're trying to be ahead of every one of them you can. So every restart, you have to be aggressive at the end. You have to take calls to gain those positions, to put yourself in that position. So we'll be aggressive the next 2 weeks, as aggressive as we can, aggressively smart, you know. So, you know, I think 2 top 10 finishes will give us a great shot to move to the next round. That's what we want to do so we can regroup. But I feel like, you know, we've got a good shot next 2 weeks.
Hi, Austin. Jamie Staten from WMUR TV here in New Hampshire. I'm sure you have some tracks you like, some tracks that aren't your favorites. Might be bad timing with this question after what happened this morning, but can you just tell us your general thoughts when you come racing in New Hampshire?
Yeah, New Hampshire is it's a different place than anywhere we go to during the year. Flat in both ends. It has its own challenges, but ran here a lot in the past, so I just kind of feel like this is one of the first big tracks I ever ran on with the NASCAR E-Series, and to this point, I've enjoyed coming to New Hampshire.
We'll go over here to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. I have two. The first one, just did you have a flat this
No, I tried to get some speed in the car and didn't work out. Truthfully, is what I think happened. I don't know. Brakes were bothering me a little bit throughout the day, but I think it was just me just trying to get some.
Okay, and second, obviously it's been a rough few days for state of North Carolina and the Charlotte area. I'm curious if how much you've been paying attention to the news and what, I mean, it's kind of somewhat of a local, you know, is
Yeah.
there anything you all talk about what you can do, or is there anything you can to help the community?
You can't really not ignore it. I mean, it's on all the news stations, but for me, it's sad that country's at this point in time. I just hope everybody can look at everything and gather their thoughts and figure out the right way to fix the problems we have. And hopefully, with the way things are, the right people will come together and fix these problems that are going on. It's just sad, really.
Go ahead.
Hi, Austin. Terrell Covey of the Portsmouth Herald. I'm just wondering how much confidence your strong run here in the summer gives you, especially given that you are going to have to go to a backup car. Do you feel like that gives you a little bit of an advantage in the situation you're in?
Yeah, I think we got a good car, like you said earlier this year, pretty decent car, and the car that we're taking out is very. We can look back at those notes. Track's a lot faster today. It was a half a second faster than where it was in qualifying time earlier this year. For us, it's just we brought a different car here than the last one, so I was kind of excited about that, and it didn't go well. So we'll go with this car, and we know what to do to it, the adjustments that need to be done, and we'll take it from there.
Go to Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Austin, since you've never gone to a backup car, you've obviously never qualified a backup car. Given the fact that you don't have any laps on the car, are you going to take a shot with something? Or are they going to try to change something to find some speed, or basically go with what you had?
Things will be a little different, but as far as my driving style going into it, I mean, I want to put the Pumpkin Spice Cheerio Chevrolet on the pole, so I'm going to go into aggressive, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And we got two other backup cars in the 31 and 27. We're going to drive hard.
Did we have any final questions for Austin? All right, Austin, well, thank you, and good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.